Good morning and welcome to Prince Rupert. This briefing this morning, the first thing we need to consider is whether we leave Prince Rupert tomorrow or on Sunday. Okay, I need a cup of coffee before I can bullshit two more like this. We want to get to the jumping off point, which is Larsen Harbour here at the north end of Banks Island. The big jump is from Larsen Harbour here over to Skidegate Sandspit over here. That's about 60 miles. Now, if you look at this chart, the thing that will strike you immediately is how crazy shallow the depths are here. It's ridiculous. It's like, 11 meters. Actually, 11 meters. Very, very shallow. The weather's actually not too bad first thing in the morning. It's a southerly breeze of 10 to 13 knots, and the sea is forecast to be a southerly swell in waves of 0.7 of a meter at 5 seconds. On Monday, first thing in the morning at 5 a.m., it is a 4 meter sea at a 6-second period. Now 4 meters.
Nothing.
It's nothing. And indeed it's that for, it gets better. 0.4 of a meter at a 7-second period, and by the afternoon they're forecasting a calm sea in Hecate Strait.
Well, I think that'd be the day to go across. Well, I've been given strict instructions to pony up seafood quickly.
Oh.
So I'm thinking if we do it in 2 days, then we've got an overnight with a crab trap.
Yeah, that's true.
And a little maybe beach combing or something in low water.
Yeah.
And possibly the gooseneck barnacles.
A few days ago I left Vancouver, took a ferry, crossed to Nanaimo on Vancouver Island, and picked up Ken, who is the mechanic and the fisherman on that expedition. Drove all the way up to Port Hardy, in north end of Vancouver Island, took the ferry, 16 hours, to go up to Prince Rupert, up north on the west coast of British Columbia, just at the south of Alaska. And now it's departure to Haida Gwaii with Patrick, our captain, Ken, our mechanic fisherman, and myself, who's going to take care of the galley, because we're going to catch a lot of fish.
I'm just logging our departure from Prince Rupert Yacht Club, and the fact that we're now underway towing the skiff. Come down here through the Islands, through Arthur Passage and down Ogden Channel.
Ken, it's our first moorage. What are we going to do first
We're
thing?
going to get crab dinner. Well, we hope we're going to get crab dinner.
That's what we're looking for. Oh, nice. Butter clam. That's a cockle. Cockle. These are baby gooey ducks. Probably throw them back. Put the first rod over the side. I was setting up the second rod, and I thought I had a bite on the first rod, but I wanted to finish setting the second rod first. Got the second rod down, immediately had a hit, brought it in. That was the big one. Put it out again, realized that I had one on the first rod, pulled in the first rod. That's the second rock cod. By the time I got the two of them on, or that one in, the rod went off again. I had a third rock cod on, but he was smaller than these guys, and we didn't need him, so good fishing for rock cod.
Today is the day that we cross Hecate Strait, heading for Sandspit and Haida Gwaii. We've planned for this trip for almost a year. We are very lucky on this particular voyage to have with us as a crew member Ken Perry, who is actually a real mechanic and not a amateur or pretend mechanic like me.
eyeball everything, check fluid levels, make sure that there's no new leaks appearing anywhere, no drips, no anything bad, and just make sure everything's running properly.
Crossing is doing well, very smooth, but the ship still, move side to side, and I'm not feeling the greatest. I may be able to feed the fish very, very soon.
So how about this? Look at this guy. Yeah. Hugs and kisses.
Oh, is that?
You got a video camera going on. There you go. Catch of the day.
Maybe put the rockfish down there at your end.
Wow. Professional fisherman coming through.
Look at the size of those things.
Yeah.
9 inches across. That's my hand span. These are Dungeness, and you can tell that it's a male by this flap here. The female is a lot shorter and a bit wider, and actually has a little bit of stuff sticking out around it.
We're in Sandspit at the marina and Haida Gwaii. Bon appetit.
In the morning, we're going to cross with another ferry to Skidegate.
We're heading over to get our orientation at Datent Gids, the cultural center, which is compulsory for anybody who wants to see the Parck Gwaii Haanas.
So the words Gwaii Haanas roughly translates to islands of beauty in the English language. So we are currently standing on Haida territory. Haida people have been living on Haida Gwaii since time immemorial, and these islands remain the unceded territory of the Haida. Oral traditions tell of the creation of Haida Gwaii, of the supernatural beings, and of our Haida ancestors who came out of the ocean. So the rich abundance of land and sea has sustained us and has supported a thriving culture and economy for thousands of years. First recorded European contact happened in 1774, and this began a period of rapid cultural, social, and economic change. Introduced diseases such as smallpox and influenza reduced the Haida population from tens of thousands to approximately 600, and colonial government policies and residential schools added to that further loss of culture and lives. In 1985, many Haidas, along with other supporters, traveled to Tulga Kungwaii, Lyle Island, to take a stand against this, which became known as the Athlete Gwaii protest. So this protest caught the attention of governments and the people of Canada. It was also a main catalyst for significant changes here on Haida Gwaii, as well as directly led to the creation of Gwaii Haanas as a protected and cooperatively managed area. Behind all of our management decisions, as well as our day-to-day work, we look towards these guiding principles. These principles are based on ethics and values in regards to Haida law. So first we have Yakudang, respect, represented by the herring. Then we have Jina Wadluhan Gad Ad Kwagid, interconnectedness, represented by bear and fish. We acknowledge and remember that everything depends on everything else. We have Ista Adigi Ista, giving and receiving, represented by Tu, red cedar. Reciprocity is an essential practice for interactions with each other and the natural and spiritual worlds. Laguga Kalhun's responsibility is represented by the ancient murrelet. Accepting responsibility to care for the land and sea is the foundation of our work. Jinakadanga Gi Utul Kagudang. Seeking wise counsel is represented by mouse women, a powerful supernatural being, so we must consider both traditional and scientific information in our decisions. And then we have Gid Tuljus, balance, represented by the abalone. Balance is needed in our interactions with the natural world.
I fished a few more seasons before finishing university. Then 40 or so years flashed by with a professional career, a few years of sailing in the South Pacific and Southeast Asia, settling in Australia, and then more professional life before I retired in 2021. I still had the boat that I'd taken partway around the South Pacific to Indonesia and Thailand and halfway around Australia.
Before retiring, I'd been refitting the sailboat until I asked myself whether it was really my intention in retirement to start crossing oceans in a small boat again. I decided what I really wanted to do was to find a boat to explore the BC coast and properly see the places I had been hurried past when I was working in the fishing industry. After a lot of investigation, I settled on Sarona, a 45-foot tolly craft with twin Caterpillar diesels. I thought it would be big enough and seaworthy enough to take me to the places that I wanted to see, and so it turned out. After the interruption of COVID, I started to make trips in Sarona, getting more adventurous as I gained confidence in the boat. When I started to invite people to crew, I naturally thought of Thierry, who I'd known for 40 years. I thought of Thierry not just because of his skill in the galley, but because of his experience with sailing and adventuring and his skills at foraging. I met Ken when I took Sarona to Ladysmith. When we first met, Ken was still working as a diesel and outboard mechanic, and he helped me with some of the maintenance on Sarona. When we became friends, I learned about his background with the Coast Guard and in commercial fishing. In 2023, Thierry came along with me on a trip north to Bella Bella. The thought of Anthony Island had never left me, and the success of the Bella Bella trip made me think that the time had finally come to see Anthony Island. It occurred to me as well that if I was going to make a voyage as ambitious as that, I needed a crew, not passengers masquerading as crew, but people who were actually going to be able to help with this enterprise, and who hopefully would share my enthusiasm for seeing Haida Gwaii. I thought of Ken and Thierry immediately, two blokes I knew I could get along with, a diesel and outboard mechanic with Coast Guard and commercial fishing experience, and a sailing chef with experience in expedition planning. It would have been difficult to imagine better people to have along. The only question was whether they would want to do it.
So
after a very hard day of preparation again, tonight we're gonna have couscous.
what we're going to do is go down to Rose Harbor and then Anthony Island within about 4 days.
Okay.
Okay, now we will take water at Shuttle Island, which is where we'll be in a couple of days' time. Full water again, and we'll have quite a lot of fuel on board. We'll go down to Anthony Island, have a look at that, and then we will work our way back towards Shuttle Island and Sandspit for the return. And instead of leaving from Rose Harbor, we will take our departure from Sandspit with full fuel and water tank. We'll join the mainland coast, a bit farther north than we
Originally
previously
planned.
going to.
The village Haida name is Kuna Ilnagai. Ilnagai just means village or town, so Kuna is the Haida name. And where the name Skadans comes from is we had a chief of this village, and his name was Chief Gadansta. So when he was introducing himself, the Europeans must have thought that he was saying that this is the village that we're in, but he was saying his name. And they couldn't say Gadansta, so that's where Skadans comes from. And the main chief of the village, he was a raven chief. So in Haida culture, we have two main moetis. There's eagle and raven. So when you're born, you'll be either in a eagle clan or a raven clan. And the way that that is dictated is through your mother's side. We're a matrilineal society. If your mother comes from a raven clan, you will be a raven. If she's an eagle, you'll be an eagle. Eagles can't marry eagles, ravens can't marry ravens. I'm an eagle. I wouldn't be able to pass down my clan lineage. It'd be my wife that would. I'd have to marry a raven and then my kids would be ravens. The people that lived here, it was majority ravens, and then there's also eagles that lived here through marriage. There's Tanu, and Tanu was a closely related village to this one. So eagles from Tanu would live here. You'll see a lot of mortuary poles, memorial poles. They're both in memoriam of a high status individual who passed away. The people that would get these mortuary poles and memorial poles, they would be of high status. It would be chiefs, but it would also be his parent, like his mom or grandmother, aunties, sisters. So not everyone will get these poles. And the difference between a mortuary pole and a memorial pole is these mortuary poles would have the remains of the individual in them, and the memorials wouldn't. The memorial pole would go up when you don't have the remains. So if someone was lost at sea or died in battle, or has a beaver. And the rings at the top are called skill in Haida language. And those represent how many potlatches that this chief had in their lifetime. So this one has 13 skill. What we see here is a part of a house frontal pole. We haven't seen any of these yet because this is the only remaining piece of a house frontal pole in the village. In the 1950s, there was an expedition that came here and took the house frontal poles in sections of 10 to 12 feet. So that's what we see here. And it was led by Bill Reed and the University of British Columbia. This house would have belonged to a Tanu Raven chief, and it was called the Moon House. So I mentioned earlier the moon, and where it got its name is from the crests on the pole, the house frontal pole. So there's the moon.
Today we came from Sandspit and went back out the way we came, and about halfway along the spit we cut across through a relatively deep part of the spit, meaning like 15 or 20 feet. And then we traveled all the way down the coast to Skidans, a village, abandoned village that once held 500 people, and now it's just ruins of timber houses and mortuary and memorial poles. After that, we came around the corner and tucked in here into Thurston Harbor, where we are now enjoying a dinner in the sunshine for the first time this trip.
Ah, bon appétit!
Bon appetit.
Captain.
This is the official team photograph.
And we officially enter today in the Gwaii Haanas. So this is a Gwaii Haanas 2024 Sarona 2 trip.
I like expedition, but I'm in.
Expedition. Yeah, I go with expedition.
Adventure, whatever.
That too.
I mean, I won't say a fishing trip yet.
Hey, I'm getting hurt feelings. I'm out of here.
The plan was to work our way down and then go across, but the last watering hole is no more.
Yeah, well, there's water at Shuttle.
Yeah.
And then, so Laskoon, there's just no mooring there.
Oh, okay.
But it's pretty rocky to get into.
Yeah, we've been kind of, if you had to, you could.
Yep.
But sort of only if you have to.
Only if you have to use your skiff. It's I wouldn't recommend it by any means. But Shuttle's really nice.
Yeah.
If I was to recommend something, try in here.
Oh yeah.
The north side up here.
Wherever it looks nice to drop a hook, I honestly don't know
Okay, actually, we're getting into anchoring depths here, so we'll work it out. But we'll stand by on Channel 6 and look forward to seeing you ashore.
Okay, Tanny is standing by 06.
Sarona standing by on 6.
Each of the village sites within Gwaii Haanas is looked after by resident watchmen. The watchmen are there to protect the sites, mainly by seeing that visitors treat these places with the respect that they deserve. No more than 12 people are allowed ashore at a site at any one time. Before we landed, we would radio ahead to ask permission to visit. We were never refused. To the contrary, we were always welcomed warmly, and the watchmen took real pleasure in showing us around, explaining what we were seeing, and telling the stories connected to those places.
Tanalinagai means eelgrass town, and it refers to the eelgrass beds that are found nearby. At one time there's supposed to have been 25 to 40 longhouses in the village, which is located on the eastern side of Tanu Island. There's not a great deal left of it today.
To a place that's known as the Shuttle Island Watering Point, although that's Shuttle Island over there, and that's the watering point in the bay on this island here. There's apparently a concrete dock in there. We don't know what to expect, we've never been there before, but we're just getting organized to take on, to top up our water, so that we've got enough water to get down to Anthony Island and back up here in, say, a week.
And that will be more for cooking, not for showering.
Well, you can have a shower before we top up the tank. That'd be a good idea.
Savon de Marseille. And next, we're gonna go to an island where there is hot spring. And of course, Ken, our famous Ken, will bring us a cod for tonight.
No, that was yesterday. I didn't promise that today.
There we are. Whoa! Wow, wow, wow. Oh, man, if this one is 104 degrees, what must the upper one be?
You said it was up to 140 something the other day.
How many in centigrade?
Let's see, hang on.
7.
Did you say 140, Ken?
Yeah, I think that's what she said.
So 70 minus 32.
This evening, we're having toast on bean.
No, beans on toast.
Oh.
Beans on toast. Fabulous breakfast.
I did, and I've already messed mine up.
Yep. But this one is more or less intact.
Am I hearing anything?
Come on, let's go here.
Oh,
Now the question is, do we want to keep a rock cod for dinner, or do we want to throw it back and hope for a lake cod?
what is that?
It's called a yellow eye.
Respectable.
Beauty, mate. Bloody beauty. Oh, yeah. I don't mind if I do, thank you very much. This is one of my favorite whiskies. It makes my hair curly and it keeps my teeth white.
This evening I'm gonna make risotto. Where's the stock? Rillettes de poisson.
Is this risotto with the red cod, or is it with everything?
Everything.
I've been through some crazy passes on the trip north to Prince Rupert, but Burnaby Narrows takes the cake.
Yes, when you have to navigate through with your dinghy first, and even it has questionable.
No, it was very exciting. A very shallow depth. Parts of the channel, at low tide, they're actually, you can walk through. So we have to wait for the tide to rise enough so that we've got water under the keel. And we probably had at times 2 feet of water under the keel. The current was really the issue, because that was also tending to, when we turned broadside, to push us down onto the next obstacle.
Ken is going to set the crab trap for tonight, and I'm going to see the old whaling station on kayak.
Today marks the culmination of the expedition. Today we reach our holy grail, the island of Gwaii, also known as Anthony Island. A place abandoned by the Haida there at least 150 years ago because of smallpox.
The passage is just all the way through the kelp there. As you know, is up
Straight ahead.
Further. My number for this place is 5 feet, which doesn't get up to 5 feet until 12:45 today. But if you can scratch your way in, it would be best if you can come all the way to the beach. Just where I'm pointing there, over where the line is attached to the shore.
The only place on the island where there's still a collection of standing mortuary totem poles. This is really what the whole trip has been about. Today is the fulfillment of that dream.
Gwaii is on the exposed southwest coast of Gwaii Haanas. Gwaii Linagai is located in a sheltered bay on the east side of the island. Human occupation is obvious. It's visible in the form of midden sites upright and fallen poles and house pits, standing posts and the beams of longhouses. It's said to be one of the best examples in the world of a traditional Northwest Coast First Nations village, and there's no reason to doubt that. In 1981, it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, as well as a National Historic Site.
Longhouse, and it had 57 people. Like I said, the slaves were down on the floor by the fire anyway. Then up one row was the higher ranking, then up on top was the chief. They had areas for weaving and artwork and stuff. They had an area for working on food, just sitting areas. The cooking is probably done by the slaves, and the doorway was right where that big stump is.
They made a rather elaborate step down, duck under, step up, stuck down,
yeah.
Doorway.
And they'd only get one person in at a time too, because if they're getting invaded, they'd be able to handle who's coming in. Yeah, big pile of people at the doorway, but that was their only access to get in through the waterway right there, and they'd have deadheads positioned where just the villagers would know where it is, and if people invading them on canoes would hit the deadhead and flip. A lot easier to kill somebody when they're in the water than when they're on a canoe.
Now, if I'd known there was going to be a video, I would have done my hair.
I have to do the extension. Haida Gwaii, back to the mainland. Now, the last plan we were talking about was taking our departure from Skidegate. Skidegate. There we are. And crossing south of the Throught Islands. There's a harbor there called Gillen Harbor that's quite a good harbor, and if, you know, that's where you wanted to stop, that would be a good place. That distance from crossing the bar at Skidegate Inlet to just south of Throught Harbor is 88 miles. There's another 9 miles getting from Sandspit up to crossing the bar. All right?
So we're starting to push 90, 100.
Yeah, 97 miles. That's a big day.
Yeah.
Barbecued salmon for dinner?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit. What's that? I was in 200 feet of water. I shut the engine off as I brought in my line, let it drift to the bottom, and then started off again, got it trolling, and just as I was about to bring the last of the line in, it hit.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And this little guy would have gone back, except for he was so badly hooked I had to cut the hook out of him.
The catch of the day, and the chicken goes back in the fridge.
Sitka black-tailed deer are a non-native invasive species on Haida Gwaii. They were introduced by settlers in the late 1800s and early 1900s as a food source. Deer being deer, their numbers increased quickly. There were no primary predators like wolves or cougars to stop them, and no severe winters to limit their population growth. Deer are great swimmers and spread quickly throughout Haida Gwaii and Gwaii Haanas, eating up much of the ground cover and understory on their way. One of the things that has been done to test their effect is to build fences around areas to keep the deer out. These fenced-off areas allow plants to grow as they would without deer, and the difference is significant. Windy Bay Watchman. This is Sarona.
Go ahead for Windy Bay.
Windy Bay, Sarona. We were hoping to come ashore and pay our respects.
Yeah, for sure. Come ashore.
Excellent. There are 3 of us.
Alrighty, sounds good. I'll see you guys when I get here.
See you in 10 minutes. This is Sarona Clear.
Here's a legacy pole. It was raised 20 years after the Parks and Council of Haida Nation settled an agreement in '93. So it was raised August 13th, 2013. But it was carved by Gwaii and John and Edenshay and their apprentice Tyler York. All three of them are my cousins. The bottom here is a sculpted and the top is an eagle. Parks Canada and the Haida Nation, they protect everything from the bottom of the sea to the top of the mountain. The sculpting, it's a bullhead. Right on top of the sculpting there is a grizzly bear. Let's show that there used to be grizzly bears here on Haida Gwaii. They found remains on the west side and the east side in a cave. Grizzly bear remains, as with spearheads and arrowheads. And on top of the grizzly bear there's the 5 good people. And right on top of the 5 good people is a raven. There's 2 modis here in Haida Gwaii, is a raven and an eagle. I'm a raven, Gordy's an eagle. But right on top, right between the ears there on the raven is the sacred one, is standing and moving. Because of the sacred one there, he's the one that caused there's an earthquake, the fall of 2012, when they were carving his totem pole. I was on the phone with my mom the next day. She said their house was rolling like big waves. Yeah. Look outside and everything is rolling. But with the Wasco, it's a half sea monster and half wolf. And he hunts killer whales, any kind of whales, anything much bigger than itself in the ocean. If you wanted, you could carry 1 killer whale in each ear, 1 in each of the claws, and 1 in his mouth. What you can see on the left there's a dog, and they found the remains of a domestic dog from 14,000 years ago. And just on the right side there is, on the Wasco's ear, is a human, and that's to represent that the visitors from the past and the future, and that's to show that you guys are represented on the pole too. And there's a 1, 2, 3 watchmen, and that's me and Gordy. There's always been watchmen in every village. There's a watchman up high in the mountain, high on the cliff or high in a tree to watch over the village. You're looking all the way around. If you saw somebody coming, they'd go warn all the men in camp. You gotta get ready for war, get ready for a fight, or...
We're on our way back to Skidegate, Thierry. Well, we're actually looking for our weather window to get back across Hecate Strait. But first we have to get fuel and water and do a couple of things.
And first we're gonna have lunch?
I think so.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Three thumbs up.
At least.
And what did you say?
This lunch was swimming 8 hours ago.
6 p.m. at the marina at Sandspit, and all the fishermen, all the safari, they're just arriving with pile and pile of fish. Salut Jean-Marc.
Salut Didier.
Thierry.
Thierry. C'est pas loin, c'est presque pareil. On est en pêche.
Hey, is there anything left in the sea?
You want to redo it? You counted 15, Chris?
No, not anymore. What size is that thing?
Never have.
We're just having a bit of an engine check here before crossing Hecate Strait tomorrow. And everything seems to be in good order.
This one's at the A and add, which is down not much.
On the oil.
Yeah, and this one hasn't really moved at all. All these pilings, the tar on the dock.
Well, we made it. So cheers, guys.
We made it? What do you mean?
Well, yes, we were just about to run out of beer.
That's true.
That's true. That was a major.
And this is what Ken caught this morning.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't catch the zucchini.
Well, I tried, but it was running too fast.
Or the eggplant.
Yeah.
6 a.m. Everybody is ready to take off. Us for the crossing, and the fishermen for the fish. Bit rough and I'm not feeling the best. I think I'm gonna go out and clean up a little bit and feed the fish. That's for tonight, Ken.
You betcha.
So
Salmon.
What do we have?
We have a spring salmon.
And last time was
Coho.
That's for Thierry, a little smidge.
So what's going on?
We are having a glass of whiskey, a fine French whiskey, in fact, to celebrate a couple of things. First of all, we've just finished crossing Hecate Strait, a distance of 96 miles from Sandspit Harbor. It's 6 o'clock in the evening. We did a run of 96 miles or more, and of course it's Bastille Day, so
Cheers.
Indeed, very special. Vive la France! Tonight, salmon caught by Ken and risotto with morel from Alaska.
We came down here to this anchorage in Parsons Anchorage down on Swindle Island because we were worried about a southeast that was forecast to blow at 30 knots. We're about 4 miles south of this position on the chart. Tomorrow we're going to go back up to this entrance and then travel through Myers Passage and Myers Narrows. Myers Narrows is a bit, well, as the name suggests, narrow and a bit shallow, but it's nowhere near as bad as some of the stupid things we've already done on this trip. And we'll pass through Myers Narrows and Myers Passage, travel up here, and then work our way back down past Clem 2. And there's a little anchorage just south of Clem 2 called Close Bay where we'll spend the night tomorrow night.
We are going to go and get some scallops. We just have to get the captain to slow the boat down and we're going to find some scallops. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it.
You mean you're gonna dive for it?
I hope to, yes.
Let's just go this one. You don't have to get too fancy. Yeah.
Okay, it does drop off in between these two.
Perfect. Standing on. Okay.
Okay. We just went through the passage and I'm not very happy because I lost the drone. Gone. So lost the crab trap, now I lose the drone. Not a good day.
To
take the skiff and go up and visit Glen 2. And there's a beautiful longhouse there and some nice totems. It's got a nice walk along the waterfront.
That's the most sports you have done for a couple of weeks?
Yes, well, I've been practicing both my forehand and my backhand. And you'll see that this was, in fact, the forehand.
Ooh. It's green lentil vegetables with carefully cooked pork ribs.
Clam chowder. That's really all I can say.
Enough said.
Yeah.
That's it, the end of the trip. This is Sarona.
It is.
Gwaii Haanas 2024.
It was an amazing trip.
Patrick, how was your crew?
It was very good. They were very good.
But replaceable.
Not everything went very smooth. The voyage didn't start well as our Captain Patrick broke a vertebrae and spent 24 hours at the emergency room in Prince Rupert 3 days before we arrived. We didn't know if we could leave and have to cancel the whole trip to the Haida Gwaii. With heavy painkiller, we did leave. Ken did lose his glasses, and we lost the crab trap in Rose Harbor. And myself, I lost the drone going through Myers Narrow. But we did it.